Imagine what it would be like to wake up each day with less on your mind and more in your heart. Most people crave a life of depth and meaning rather than one spent skimming the surface. Yet the default has increasingly become living lost in a blur of belongings, obligations, and worries. Still, carving out a life that's less cluttered and more fulfilling is possible. You just need to take a brave step back and examine what's really important, your true priorities, the space you inhabit, and the time you devote to each activity. It's not about shunning everything you own or dropping all your responsibilities. It's about making intentional choices that align with what genuinely matters to you. In this blink, you'll learn how to focus on 4 distinct areas: crafting a clearer sense of identity, creating spaciousness in your surroundings, reclaiming precious minutes in a hectic schedule, and fostering deeper connections rooted in love. Each step will offer a new perspective on the power of simplification, whether that means paring down your possessions, setting stronger boundaries around your time, or cultivating the courage to show your authentic self. By the end, you'll discover fresh ideas for living more deliberately, freeing up mental and emotional bandwidth for the people, experiences, and simple pleasures that light you up from within. More you. When daily routines become overwhelming and personal priorities start to fade, it can feel like we've lost touch with our deepest selves. Stripping away unnecessary commitments and physical clutter is a powerful way to refocus on what genuinely matters. Yet this isn't a one-and-done process. Like regular exercise, it calls for steady practice and the willingness to begin again when needed. To discover who you truly are beneath the rush of everyday life, take a moment to tune in and ask yourself some direct questions. How has my body felt lately? How has my soul or spirit felt lately? What changes would I like to make in my life? What changes do I need to make in my life? Rather than offering standard polite responses, honestly reflect on your physical and emotional well-being and the choices you've made over the past days, months, or even years. Doing so can be confronting, but can also reveal essential truths about what you want to change and what can't wait any longer. From here, gaining greater clarity often requires delving into your personal beliefs. See if you can momentarily shake external expectations or inherited convictions. This is about figuring out what resonates in your core when the noise fades. Reflect, too, on the wake-up calls you've experienced, whether they were dramatic events like major breakups or burnouts, or subtler signals from everyday life like recurring headaches or sleepless nights. How did you respond in these instances? Has life sent you any similar wake-up calls recently? With some of the emotional work underway, consider how you could better nurture your physical being. You might start with simple but foundational habits, such as incorporating leafy greens into every meal, spending time in nature every day, and prioritizing consistent sleep each night. Even brief moments with your hands over your heart can be transformative, reminding you to stay connected to your truth. While the path to a simpler, more mindful life is invariably challenging, every step brings you closer to becoming more of yourself. Each deliberate choice you make, from changing your daily diet to spending time outdoors, unpacking assumptions to examining breakdowns, offers an opportunity to remember who you are at heart. Focusing on these inner truths over external expectations empowers you to show up more authentically in the world, and, as a result, feel more grounded, present, and at peace with each decision you make. More space, an overstuffed closet, or a jam-packed schedule can weigh more heavily on the mind than most realize. When there's barely any room to move, there's even less space to reflect on what truly matters. Simplifying your life is not just about tidying shelves or reorganizing your calendar, though. It's about uncovering why the excess clutter appeared in the first place and how to keep it from creeping back. A helpful overarching approach is to pause before taking on anything new, whether a purchase, project, or commitment, and ask if the item in question will support what you love or the person you aspire to be. If not, it's likely an item you can gratefully and gracefully let pass you by. A short-term practice that can be equally eye-opening is taking a month-long break from shopping or saying yes altogether. Keep a list of things you considered must-haves or must-dos in the moment, and reflect on whether they still fall into this category at the end of the month. If they do, go ahead and buy or commit wholeheartedly. Often, however, you'll discover many are just passing fancies. When it comes to letting something you already own go, it's crucial to dig into the underlying reasons you've held on until now. If something is expensive or represents who you wish you were, it may be weighing you down with hidden guilt or regret. Parting ways with such objects doesn't erase your history. Rather, it frees you to move forward with fewer burdens. Downsizing significant belongings, moving to a smaller home, for example, frequently fosters a disproportionately significant sense of spaciousness. When you clear away physical clutter, you'll likely notice a newfound mental clarity and peace of mind. A simple experiment like rearranging your closet or cutting it down to a few versatile items can illustrate how living with less can bring surprising relief. With fewer things to organize and maintain, you'll find it easier to focus on relationships, self-care, and genuine passions. Gradually, these mindful steps build momentum toward a calmer and more grounded way of being. Again, making space goes beyond throwing out unwanted junk. It's an invitation to carefully curate what truly deserves room in your home, your mind, and your heart. And with each decluttering decision, you're closer to embracing a lifestyle that feels lighter, more meaningful, and free of the pressures that once drove you to fill every corner. More time life can feel like an impossible juggling act when every moment is already claimed. The more you attempt to squeeze in, the less time and energy remain for what actually fuels your spirit. Deciding to become more intentional about each hour you spend allows you to focus on activities that bring genuine fulfillment rather than just ticking off another to-do. One way to start is by examining the root of busyness. Why the need to be constantly occupied and in demand? If you notice that certain tasks never get done anyway, it might be time to drop them from your list altogether or explore options for delegating them to someone else. Asking, "Is this really important?" before agreeing to a new commitment can further help you identify whether you're saying yes out of obligation or because it aligns with your heart's desires. Relatedly, your work life may also need some reflection. If you feel like you've become someone else to keep pace or fit in, it may be time to investigate other options. While you work to unpack the psychological, you can also take action on the physical. A simple but powerful point of entry is to begin your day with a brief routine you love. For instance, instead of hitting snooze on your alarm, use those 5 minutes for quiet reflection, a few pages of a book, or a full body stretch. That seemingly small slice of personal time can set a calm, purposeful tone for the rest of your morning. Setting aside regular moments for rest throughout your day and week can be just as transformational too. In these dedicated windows of recovery and rejuvenation, try placing distractions such as devices, to-dos, and concerns in a figurative or literal box so you can recharge without worry. By thoughtfully reclaiming your time, you create breathing room for a life that feels less frantic and more meaningful. Remember, each choice you make to step away from constant busyness helps you engage more fully with the people and pursuits that matter most. More love. A surprising thing happens once the excess in life is cleared away, whether physical possessions, overwhelming commitments, or lingering self-doubt. What remains is the capacity for deeper, more authentic connection. Creating the time, space, and clarity we've explored in the previous sections isn't about creating time, space, or clarity for its own sake. It's about making room for the passions and people that truly light you up. With this framing, each step you take toward removing clutter and limiting distractions becomes a step toward recognizing and honoring what makes your heart feel most alive. An important moment on this journey involves taking a close look at how you speak to yourself. If your inner voice tends to judge harshly or dwell on past mistakes, consider giving yourself permission to release these unnecessary burdens. Love can only flourish when guilt or regret is replaced with genuine self-compassion. Similarly, you might also reflect on whether you rely on gifts or material gestures as a stand-in for showing affection to yourself or others. Being present and attentive often offers far more warmth than anything your money could buy. Another powerful practice is writing down a personal mission, capturing who you are and what you stand for, and keeping a copy close to hand. The chaos and complexity of life will inevitably threaten to overshadow or overthrow your values. So think of your personal mission statement as your individual compass to keep you on track or return you to it in challenging times. Committing to be seen as you really are also makes a difference. As much as we'd prefer otherwise, stepping into the light with all our imperfections can forge stronger bonds than any polished facade could hope to achieve. All of these small moments, letting go of self-talk that no longer serves you, capturing your essence in a personal statement, and allowing your true self to shine, add up to a life where connection and clarity are woven throughout. By carving out time and energy for the people and passions that resonate with your heart, you create a space where love can only thrive. Final summary. In this video to Soulful Simplicity by Courtney Carver, you've learned that the pursuit of simplicity offers so much more than relief from overwhelm. It points to a transformative path to wholehearted living. By clearing out both physical and mental clutter, you gain the bandwidth to truly engage with what matters, whether nurturing deeper relationships or kindling fresh creative sparks. Freed from the strain of external expectations, you can finally recognize that your worth doesn't hinge on proving anything to anyone. This shift in perspective ushers in greater peace and contentment, turning everyday experiences into opportunities for genuine connection and personal growth. As you embrace the power of less, you'll find more room for intention, compassion, and the joyful discovery of all that life can be. Okay, that's it. We hope you enjoyed it. If you can, please take the time to leave us a comment. We always appreciate your feedback. See you in the next video.